If you're not using this tool on your website, you're probably missing out on some sales. This episode of Brushwork is best watched on YouTube. Hey friends and foes, welcome to Brushwork Podcast. My name is Stephanie Scott, and today we're talking about why you need Hotjar. Now, if I know anything about my listeners, I know that y'all are really interested in upgrading your websites, you're upgrading your social media pages, you're upgrading your practice, you're upgrading the way you think about art. And I've got a tool for you today that is going to specifically help you with your websites. Now, I know that you've put a lot of effort into your own artist website, and if you haven't and you're like, I want to know how to even do that in the first place, I've got an episode that I've made in the past called Why You Need an Artist Website. In that episode, we go through all the different pages you need, including about the artist, your gallery, how to contact you, commissions, a shop, etc. We go through it all. And at this point, you've done all that. You have a website that you think is like really, it's knocking it out of the park. You think it's great. You've got your pictures up. They're high quality. You've got descriptions. You have many easy ways for people to contact you. You've got a homepage that looks like a magazine cover, and you are super happy with it. You think this is perfect. If you're at the point and you've made the website and you've got a consistent posting on your social media and you're thinking, all right, I know people come to my website because I've seen the analytics. I've looked on, say you're using Squarespace and you're checking out who's clicking on things, what pages they're going to, but you're like, people aren't making any purchases. Or I don't know if people are actually reading the text I've typed out and edited and made copy for on all the pages. Or maybe you're like, are people even scrolling to the bottom of the homepage? Or are they just doing something else? This tool that I bought for you today, called Hotjar, is the answer to your prayers. I am the kind of person that wants to deep dive into everything. I want to know exactly how people are using my website. If they're on it and they're scrolling and then they, click on my gallery and then they go to the shop and then they leave, I want to know why they left. I want to know where they're going. What gallery in particular do they like? Do I have a series that's more popular than another and I just haven't seen it, or I haven't been able to tell because I'm too close to the artwork? Maybe you're like, okay, I know people go to my contact page, but I'm not getting any contacts. Like, no one's emailing me, no one's calling my phone, no one's filling out the form I've made. What is going on? The Hotjar is a tool that will help you see exactly how people are using your website. And when I mean exactly, I mean it's going to take recordings of people visiting your website that have accepted cookies and let you see exactly where their mouse is clicking on your website. It shows you heat maps for where people are scrolling to. You can see where their mouse is going. Sometimes it can feel creepy when you're seeing this, but also people have said, yes, you can do this because they accepted the cookies. Hotjar has changed the way I look at websites. It's changed the way I've been running mine. It's caused me to make major changes on my website for the better. And today, I want to show you what that looks like. Before I can show you the magic that is Hotjar, I need to show you the back end of my own website so you can get an idea of what I saw before I used Hotjar and how I'm really utilizing that now. When you look on this page here, which welcome to the back end of my website, you're seeing traffic, and then soon you'll see engagement, and I'm not going to show you sales, but you'll see a little bit of that. Here you can see my visits I've got from the last 30 days here. March 3rd, I got 16 viewers. March 12th, I got 48 viewers. And on the 25th, I got 35 viewers. This is pretty average for me right now. I get some people coming in from Twitch. I get some people coming in from my shop. I had 2 shows this last month in March. It's been good. In here, I have my top sources for how people see my website. People are coming from Google. They're coming directly from direct links. That's either through my mailing list or whatever. Some people are coming through Instagram, some through YouTube, 21 there, and others is the mystery vault of I have no idea where they came from, but they came from somewhere. I also love to look here. This is my visits. This is how people are checking out my website. I love to know this. A lot of people are coming to my website on mobile lately. Before, it's been pretty desktop heavy, so it kind of fluctuates back and forth. Here, I can see what kind of browsers people are using. This isn't as important for me. Surprisingly, a lot of Safari users. That means Apple phones. I love to look at this. Something I really love in particular is going to traffic sources. Traffic sources tell me all sorts of things about where people are coming from. Again, coming from direct, coming from searching online. A lot of this is from a very particular podcast post I have, and it's good to know. People aren't really buying artwork from my website lately. They've been buying it from my in-person shows, so that's fine with me. Search keywords are interesting, but they don't help me out very often. I get a lot of things for artist dates. I have this one podcast episode called 75 Artist Dates that you can take yourself on, and most of my web traffic comes from that one post. It's actually kind of incredible how many people click on that post that I made towards the tail end of last year. Just it's a lot. Fortunately for me, a lot of people go to that post and then they check out the rest of my website. So it's nice. So all of these are search keywords that people have used to come find me, and it's great. Okay, so the next thing, which is what I look at the most, is my engagement. And this is where things get actually super interesting. You'll see here are my top pages. Now, I know that people come and check out this one page called 75 Artist Dates. 278 people have found this in the last, this is 30 days, and they spend quite a bit of time on it. The next people look at is my shop, which is just a heck yeah, I love it. And then they go to my home page because that's where they're first directed to. Sometimes people see the overview. The overview is my gallery, and then they check out the podcast. We have a couple other links here, and they go down like this, but like this difference is like, it's a lot, right? What I really wanted to know after I clicked on this and after I saw, okay, people are really going to see the artist dates. What are they doing on that page? They're spending quite a bit of time on that page, but what exactly are they checking out? How far are they reading? It's a long blog post. It has 75 detailed artist dates. They're paragraphs long. Are people really looking at it? With the Squarespace engagement analytics here, I don't really know that information. One more thing before we go over to Hotjar. This is the activity log, and this is the thing I tend to check most often when I'm visiting my website and updating something. What I'm looking most at is on the left here, and 1 second, let me move myself over. I just have to get my camera and go doop, 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 doop. Okay, so we go and we look over here. I want to see what pages people are checking out. So again, 75 artist dates. You're going to see that often. People are looking at the Chateau review. I love that. People are looking at Golden Fields. That's one of my art galleries. They're going from the home. You'll see here these numbers. These are IP addresses. And when I click on them, let's click on the most recent one. This person found me on Google searching 75 artist dates, and they are from the United States. Let's look at this person here. Affirmations for Artists. They found me through Google, and they're from New Hampshire. This is the most basic information I can get about who is viewing my website. Sometimes I get things like this person came on this morning, April 1st. They're from Russia. They went to my home page, and then they went over to the overview because they're looking at my gallery. And then they wanted to see the Golden Thread series. And then they went back home, and then they checked out about the artist, and then they bounced. They're out of here. It's interesting to see that story. And pre-Hotjar, you can see that information, and it's definitely useful. But I want to know, what made them go from the home to the gallery to the Golden Thread series specifically? Like, was there one photo that they looked at that they were like, I want to see more of this? And that's what Hotjar can help us with. This is the front page of Hotjar's website. They tell you so much about what they do and how they're helping you. Their tagline is everything you wanted to know about your website, but your analytics never told you. Just like I've demonstrated, here we go. When you use Hotjar, you have heat maps. The heat maps show you in rainbow form, which I appreciate, how far people are scrolling down before they leave. And they show you the percentages of people where they leave. Fascinating, right? You can learn about recordings, so you can see where people are clicking, how people are entering information without actually seeing the information they're doing. It's really good about privacy. You're never going to see any numbers. They'll just be X'd out with a little X. You'll never see anyone's personal information unless it's been fully submitted to you through your website. We love to see it. Hotjar has several tiers of information that you can use. And I have the free one, which is just observe. I really only want to know what people are doing in action-wise. I want to see the heat maps and I want to see the recordings. They have above and beyond things like getting feedback and doing surveys and interviews. All of these are plus features that I, as an artist, don't feel like I need, but you might later. You can check them out on your own time. In the meantime, let's check out my website. Here is my full website. On the left here that my face is covering, let's just, we gotta do our thing again. We'll just go in the middle here. If you're not singing songs on your podcast, are you even doing a podcast? Okay, so on the left here, we have our overview, which is this page here. We have some suggested things. We have some tracking status. I have it tracking stephaniescott.art. It is tracking about 87% of traffic coverage here and only sessions that last longer than 30 seconds. I'm not really interested in people that click once on the page and then they're like, nope, I'm out. Like, I want to know a little bit more. How you use Hotjar is totally up to how you tell it to work. You can have heat maps and relevant recordings. You have some other things too that I have not paid for, and I don't really intend to pay for them. But you have to direct it to what you want. When you first link up your website to Hotjar, you need to give it about 2 weeks of use of people like using your website before you can actually see anything. So this is kind of like a set it up, wait a few weeks, and then come back to it and be like, dazzled. So let's look at heat maps first. Heat maps are fascinating. I have set, you'll see on the left here, several of these websites for people to use. I have About the Artist, I have Art Coaching, which I have since taken down. I have my commissions page, the discovery call page, my gallery overview. I want to see how people are using that, the homepage, live streams, and the podcast. So if we go to the homepage, I'm going to click on this. It takes a second. It says turning up the heat and they get the data. When you go to my website, this is where people are clicking. So when you click on, there are 3 different ways that you can learn about things. You can see all clicks, which is what we're on right now. People are clicking the top banner here, right? You can click on move. We just gotta wait a second. And you can see where everyone has moved their mouse and stopped. And isn't that fascinating? They kind of scroll down, they stop. They scroll, they stop. They click on this, they stop. They put their mouse, this is a portrait of me that's supposed to be right here. They stop. They go over here, they stop. It's interesting, right? This one here tells me a lot. So they want to enter to win a free print. They've typed in their name and they press sign up, and then a new button appears right here and they're like, great. And they click it. They're all done. Then you have scroll, and I think this one is extra delicious. Here we go. When people come to my website, they're automatically scroll to right here. This is 100% success. And this is the last 30 days. When they go down, they see my face. They go down here, and about halfway, at 50%, they see these 3 buttons. They see shop, view, and this is listen. You can't really see it very well. And then half of the people leave. This tells you a lot about how people are using your website. If you have a homepage and people are only scrolling down a couple of rolls on the mouse dial, and then they leave and do something else, I want to know, are they leaving because they're backing out of the website, or are they leaving because they've clicked one of these? If they've clicked one of these, that feels like a win. I'm like, they're going places and I've interested them enough. If they get all the way down here and they haven't clicked something, they're only clicking contact the artist, or they're like, I'm out of here, I want to know that information. And only 16% of people in the last 30 days or so have gone all the way down to the bottom. Let's do a new thing. Let's click last 12 months and we're going to apply it. Let's see what's happened here. This is the last year on my website for my homepage. And again, it takes a hot minute because it's Hotjar. All right. In the last years, April 1st to April 1st, we have a much more detailed gradient. So people scroll down and they see my art here, they see my tagline, and they see my picture. Something I should really consider here is that they go down to my photo and sometimes they don't go back up. Sometimes they just leave. I think it would actually be beneficial for me to move this photo down somewhere else so that these 3 images, these 3 buttons, are utilized better. Have people, they stop here and they don't see past this way. That's telling. If you see a huge shift in my homepage after this, you'll know why. People come down here, they say read about commissions, they click on this. I think it's important to notice that big color changes happen right after buttons. This heat map in particular is for desktop users. If you want to use it for mobile, there are different buttons to switch, but I'm not going to cover that today. Let's switch over to a new page. How about we go over to, which one feels saucy? How about gallery overview? This is the page that has all of my art. Last 30 days, this is the page where I get people looking at my work in high detail, right? So they go here and they're like, okay, first things first, the Golden Thread series. This is my most prolific series. It's the one I've put the most effort into and the one I have the most action on. Recently added was the Zodiac collection. Almost no clicks. In fact, 0 clicks here. Let's do one that says move. I want to see that. I've just added the Zodiac series here. So everything else in here in this map might be subjected to something else. We have the Golden Field series, which for me was an all gold background. And then I have the Gradient series. It's not showing every image I've popped up because it doesn't need to. I know it's there. But if you're ever confused, just go back and forth on your website and look. And then we have people coming down here. A lot of clicks on the non-geometric abstraction gallery. For me, that's interesting. I primarily work in geometry, so the fact that people are really interested in this non-geometric collection, like lots of clicks here, is interesting to me. I think it's also telling me that I should put something else here at the bottom for them to click on. Maybe a couple different options besides having to scroll all the way up, like so. One of the last heat maps I want to show you today is my commissions page. This is my bread and butter for my art business. Doing commissions gains me the most money in the most concise amount of time, and I put a lot of effort trying to get and maintain my relationships with my commission clients. This page matters a lot to me, and I want to see what the scroll is like. I know people click on it and they say commissions. It's a big portrait of me actively painting. I want people to not be confused even a little bit about what you're getting. Here's the average fold here. People scroll down on this page. Look at this. They scroll down so much more than they do when they are on my homepage. And that's exciting. That means people are really looking at what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, right? So they're looking at my different types. Like, it's still 100%. It's still 100% all the way down till you get right at the end of the different types of painting I do. So it's hard to see here because it's so much red. But we go down and I have a presentation image that says commissions, and then it says how this works. I say you choose your motif, you fill out the intake form, we confirm the details, I do the painting, we review, I lay out all the steps here, right? So now they're going to look at a testimonial. They're going to look at the different types of painting I can do. We scroll down some more. This is incredible. And then we get right here. Something happens here, and it is, let me show you on the real website. Oh, wait. Yeah, scroll past it. So we go to commissions here. So we click on commissions and we scroll down and we see a testimonial. I say choose your motif. That means your design. I show you the different kinds I can do, my different collections. And then right here, they look at delivery and shipping fees. So this is my timeline. This is really important. I need people to know that this is what I do and how you are going to receive your work. I say, if you're in Seattle, I'll ship it to you. Or, I will personally deliver it to you. But if you are somewhere else, I'm going to mail it to you and it'll have a separate cost. Delivery takes almost 2 months for me to make a piece of artwork from deposit to delivery. And then we go down next. This is the juiciest part. This is my current prices. I last updated it last year in June. It's still accurate, so I haven't changed it. Let's go back to Hotjar. So we go down to the prices and it's not showing what pictures are here, but I know this is here. So we go down, people look at the prices, and a lot of people bounce. This tells me that some people are not ready to pay the cost of getting a custom piece of art. A lot of people will go back here, or they'll go back up, and they'll go to my shop full of original works that are not commissioned, right? They'll find things that are cheaper than my commission prices, which can get up to $3,000+ depending on how big they are. But they start at $150. I love this information. It tells me that half of the people who check out commissions are not in the price range for what I'm selling. And if I want to capture their attention, I should be making things that are a little bit cheaper. However, half of the people looking at my commission pages are going to keep researching things. Okay, so half the people have gone down, they see the deposit, they see the cancellations, and they understand. Then they get here. and they get to my form. I ask them to tell me about their ideas, tell me about their preferences. They fill out what everything they like. Is it a gift? Is it not? Where is it going? When are you hoping to have the piece finished by? How did you hear about me? And then they click submit. I love that. That means I have a potential sale. We get here to this customer testimonial, and I know that people have filled out their information, they have pressed submit, or they're coming back to do it later, and they stop here because the information is submitted. They've said, I want a commission. Okay. This is great news that 40% of the people have gotten all the way here. Now, after this, you see it drops off quite significantly to 20%. And that's because I don't need them to keep reading. They go here, I'm just like, thank you for trusting me with your vision. I have my copyright notice, and that's really the end of the page. There's nothing else to do. I love that. That's good news. And that's a well-designed, oh, that's Canva. That's a well-designed website. Now let's go to the next interesting part of Hotjar, which is the recordings. This might be the creepiest part of this whole website, but it is, once you get past the fact that, okay, I am seeing exactly how people are using my website down to the mouse movements. And people have let me do this because they've accepted my cookies. I love this information. This information is more useful than everything we just learned with the heat maps. This information shows me how people are using the website and how people are leaving the website. They're telling me, are they going to my shop and looking at things? Are they going to that 75 artist date idea things and then leaving? Or are they going there and also continuing on to the rest of Brushwork podcast or to the rest of my website and, seeing what I've been up to? I love this. So you'll look here and you see we have these users. Some of them are new and some of them have been back. When you see this one right here, that's me. You'll learn to recognize your own number because you use the website so much, and that's fine. And see, I'm here on April 1st and I'm here on April 1st. That's right now. And that's brilliant, right? Okay, so we're here and we're going to look at a couple people. Now, some people will stay on the website for a long time. Some people will stay for a minute. I only wanted recordings that were like over 30 seconds. So like if people are just like there and gone, I'm like, I don't need to know you. But if some people are here for 22 minutes, I want to know that. So I look here, I'm like, okay, it's 22 minutes. And then I look over here and I'm like, okay, they were at the artist date ideas. I know it's labeled 108 artist dates, but I ran out of ideas. So it's 75, but I didn't change the URL. Okay, so let's go and look at what they did. This person is from the United States, and they were here today as I've been making this podcast, and we're going to watch the recording. So they came to the website from Google, and you can see how they're moving their mouse. They're reading things. They're looking at stargazing. They go past my ad and they like check it out a couple of times. They scroll down some more and they're checking things out. They go back up, they go back down. They're like, ooh, artist dates you can do for under this amount. Oh, I could go to the opera. We could do palm readings. And then they're really into the spa treatment thing. I hope they do a spa treatment. That sounds like a good idea. And then you'll notice at the bottom here, I have this like bar happening. Let's pause. So if you look down here, this is like showing me active movement. And then this right here is showing me inactive movement. They're not going anywhere. So this is telling me they are looking at things, they're scrolling down, they're looking at things, full day. They read about full day ones, and they're like, we could do some things when we're stuck at home, but instead, I think I'm gonna get out of here. Whenever someone goes up and to the right, like they did right here, that means they're usually closing the tab. Usually it means that. Or they're like, I'm going to go somewhere else. When we go from here all the way to over here, you'll see a couple more movements. And that is them going back to the website. So they kept my tab open for almost 20 minutes here, and that's fascinating. Maybe they wrote something down. Maybe they went back to their artist date things. I don't know. Fascinating, right? Okay, let's watch another. This one was 40 minutes. And want to know why it was 40 minutes? It's because it's me. This is how I'm using Brushwork podcast, and this is me editing my website. Here's some future things I'm going to do. That's a sneak peek for a future episode. Here's me changing things and working on Brushwork. Here's me looking at the shows. Funny, right? Okay, so then let's go to someone who's not me. This person is looking at prices. They want to know about how to sell their artwork. This is an artist themselves, and they're looking for ideas on how to price their artwork. I made a very thorough blog post about this, and they're reading it. You can see them scrolling. Sometimes they're stopping. Right there, they had to stop, and now they're scrolling again. Looking at the bar at the bottom will tell you what's happening here. So they're reading, they're scrolling, they're kind of skimming at this point. This is telling me I should reformat this page so it's easier to read quickly. And then right here, they're going to stop. They're going to go do something else. They came back to the page. They copied that. They stopped, and then they left again, and then they came back, and now it's been 10 minutes, and they're back, and then they exited. One thing I like about Hotjar is that it'll tell you about the priority list. So when we go back, I want to see some high relevance. One thing I really like about the recordings here is that you can look back quite a range. I want to see what are the top ones from the last, let's say 15 days, 2 weeks about. And I want it to be rated by high, like high relevance. So let's click here and see what we can get that are like really moderate to high relevance. This is an example of someone being a mobile user, and they went to my website through a direct link. It's an unknown referrer, but I'm pretty sure this is from something I've done. I caused this. So people go and they went to about the artist. This is interesting. They're reading about me as a person, about my history as an artist, and about my artist statement. I bet this person came from one of my art shows that I have up currently in Seattle. I definitely know it's them because they went to the Zodiac series. And I think they came from a show I just had at West Seattle Grounds where I had this series up. So they went to see the Zodiac series. They're on their mobile, they're scrolling, they're having a look, and they get all the way down to Libra and Scorpio there, and then they start to go back up. Maybe they're reading about Leo, and they're looking at this one a lot. They're looking at Libra. They like the Libra colors, and that's fascinating to me. I wonder where they will go next. So they keep reading about the Zodiac, really looking at the images. This kind of interest is rare, and if I can figure out how to get this person to buy something for me, that would be ideal. I'm like, can they be a collector? I want this person who is so thoroughly looking at it to be a collector. So they clicked. Stop. Let's hold on. We gotta go back. This is gold. Okay, so they scroll, and they scroll all the way to the bottom. I was a genius, and I placed this button here that says get a custom Zodiac painting. It takes you to the commission page, and they click it. Delicious. Okay, they click it and they start scrolling down. They look at the motifs. They keep going. They do a little scroll. You can see like the finger movement happening. Isn't that interesting? They keep going. They keep going. They see the price. They see the deposit. They're still reading. Here, they're going to take a break. Now they've come back and they're looking at it again. They go back up. They look at more at the non-geometric abstraction. I think they like it a lot. They look more at the pricing. And then they start looking at the form. And then they scroll back up and they're looking and they're looking and they're looking. This kind of behavior tells you what people are looking at, what catches their interest, and what they're reading. Okay, so now they want to go back to the gradient series. They took a break and now they're back. This is over the course of 32 minutes. And they're looking at the gradients. They're like, what's going on? What is the Golden Fields doing? Here I want to know what their favorite color palettes are. And I think that's what they're looking at too. I think this person is definitely interested in commissioning me, which is good news for me because I have a spot open. They go back over to this one. They look at gradients. They look at these light tones, very colorful things. They're scrolling. They're not interested in these duller colors. Some older paintings. They're like really going back. People very rarely go this far back. And then they scroll all the way back to the top. And now they're looking at Golden Fields. They took a break there. Then they clicked and they came back. Still looking at these. Scrolling all the way back up. Looking at the gradient series again. This kind of viewership makes me very happy. And if I didn't know about this, I would just be like, oh yeah, they checked out my website. But like to see this amount of interest, it's fascinating. Here, I want to see where they go. They keep going back to the Golden Fields series. I think they like the all gold backgrounds, but I also think they wish I had something brighter. That's what I'm seeing here. Now they look at this one. This is my last gallery. They haven't checked out except for the non-geometric one. They're still looking at the colors. They're looking at the solar power duo. It's kind of wild how people use your website. And I'm so glad that I have Hotjar to show me this. Okay, at this point, they've gone to my website. And let's talk here for a second at at the way that this is listed. So their website screen, their phone screen, is like a little bit too narrow to have two pieces of art side by side. So they're getting it in this list form, which I can't always help. I try to make my website as mobile friendly as possible, but sometimes you have a weird dynamic and you have to work with what you work with. This person is looking at my original paintings. They're looking at this one that's sold out. They're looking at that one that's sold out. They're looking at the prices. They click on one. They don't add it to the cart. They go back. They go back to my homepage. They look at my non-geometric work. They took a break there in between. And then they want to take a quiz. I have this quiz on my website. And it looks like they're going to do the quiz for a minute. So while they're doing the quiz, which I can't show you the results because that uses a whole nother app on my website, they're going to do this quiz. At the end of the quiz, they get a discount code. And maybe they'll use it in my shop. I don't know if this person's going to, but they've been spending a lot of time on what color is your personality. They spend 3 whole minutes here doing the whole quiz and doing things. Let's skip ahead. Then they go back to about the artist, and we're learning more about me, back to the Zodiac collection, back again to the Zodiac collection after a break. Do you see why Hotjar is good? Do you see why knowing this information is really helpful? This person goes back to the original Zodiac page and will leave my website at this point. Either they will submit a commission inquiry at some time in the future, or they will not commission me at all. Maybe they'll send me a message on Instagram, but you know that I'm going to be looking out for this user and seeing what they do in the future. Because if they're here, which was 2 days ago, spending this much time on my website, I'm pretty sure that they want a painting, and I need to do something to encourage them to apply. They've looked at my prices, they understand it, they kept looking back at the gallery, they clearly want something. So now I have information to take action, and that is the most important thing you can do using Hotjar. Using this information that you've gotten and taking action to get commissions, to get sales on your website in a way that you wouldn't have had information for before. You have all these recordings here. There's me again. And you see new people, you see older people, people who come back over and over again. It's amazing. Using these kind of tools and cookies on your website to learn how people are using your website will direct you towards where your weak points are. I didn't know that a lot of people went to the bottom of those 3 buttons I have on the front page and then just didn't keep going. I would not have known that otherwise, which is telling me, okay, maybe I should put something more interesting down there, right? Like, having this kind of information about where people are scrolling, where people are clicking, where people are leaving your website, how people are interacting, that's invaluable. So if you're not using Hotjar, what are you doing? I do have a referral code that I'm going to put into the show notes below. You don't have to use it. You can just sign up on your own. And I recommend you give it a try. They have a free version. I've never been pressured into buying their more expensive tiers, and I think you're going to learn a lot. Just remember, you integrate your website. You need to wait a few weeks for people to use it, and then you can recheck and see what the results are, and then make changes. Hotjar is very easy to use. I highly recommend it. And thanks for listening to Brushwork. You can find me at stephaniescott.art. That is my Instagram handle and also my website, which you've seen so much of today. I hope you've enjoyed that. You can find Brushwork at BrushworkPod. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's everywhere. If you are listening to this and you've liked this episode, will you give me a thumbs up or subscribe or leave me a nice comment telling me that I'm perfect and you love me? It's going to be good. I appreciate it. Your engagement helps me reach other artists. Speaking of other artists, I am looking for people to interview. If you have someone or you yourself think, oh, I have a good idea for the podcast, or I have something I would love to talk about on Brushwork, send me a message. I'm working on right now making a page so that it's really easy for you to submit ideas. But for now, just send me a message, send me a DM, send me an email, whatever. And I would love to hear from you and hear about your ideas. All right, that's all. Take care, make good choices, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!